Hey folks, listen up because I'm about to drop a coin-sized bombshell on you. Did you know that there's a regular old penny from 1985 that could be worth more than a Ferrari? Yep. A 1-cent coin with a D mint mark that might have you screaming like you just hit the jackpot in Vegas. This isn't monopoly money, this is cold hard cash. We're talking $1.1 million for a single coppery-looking coin. No gold, no diamonds, just Abe Lincoln chillin' on the front like it's any other penny in your junk drawer. Before you go flipping your couch cushions and raiding your grandma's coin jar, stay with me because in this video, we're diving deep into the wild world of the 1985'D mint mark Lincoln penny. What makes it so special? Why is it worth a fortune? And could you be sitting on $1 million penny without even knowing it? Maybe even a shiny penny for inspiration. And let's dig into this little treasure hiding in plain sight. Alright, let's kick it off with the basics. The 1985'D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver. That's what the D stands for. It's part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial series, the ones we've all seen a million times, probably stuck to the bottom of a purse or chilling in the car's cup holder. Now, on the surface, this coin looks completely normal. You've got Honest Abe on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and it's made of copper-plated zinc standard stuff. So, how in the world does this humble penny end up being worth over $1 million? There's something called errors in the coin collecting world. Now, don't let that word fool you. These errors are not oopsies you throw away. They're the happy accidents that make coins rare and valuable. And the 1985'D penny is no exception. We're talking things like misstrikes, double dies, off-centers, and planchet mix-ups. One of the most famous 1985'D penny errors is the double die obverse. Basically, Abe's face or the lettering looks a little fuzzy or doubled up. And coin collectors go absolutely bonkers for these. Imagine Abe Lincoln looking like he's had too much coffee and started seeing double. That's money, baby. I once found a 1985 penny in the laundry. You know, one of those I forgot to empty my pockets situations. At first I was like, okay, cool, another penny for the coin jar. But something about it looked off. I googled it, and suddenly I'm squinting at it under a lamp like some amateur treasure hunter. Turns out, it wasn't worth millions, but that moment, the thrill of maybe discovering something huge, got me hooked. And now here we are, talking about $1 million pennies like it's a totally normal thing. Back to our star coin. The one that sold for $1.1 million had all the right stuff, near perfect condition, rare error, and the right collector willing to drop serious cash. We're talking about a mint state coin with a dramatic double die and not a scratch on it. The kind of coin you'd want to lock in a vault and maybe name your firstborn after. And now don't go thinking every 1985'D penny is worth a fortune. Most are still worth 1 cent, maybe a few bucks if they're in good shape. But if yours has an error and it's in mint or near mint condition, it could be a whole different story. Coin grading plays a big role too. There's this scale from 1 to 70, yeah, kinda like school grades but nerdier, and if your penny hits that upper tier, especially MS-67 and above, cha-ching. That's the sweet spot where things start getting spicy, and let's not forget rarity. Only a handful of these super high-quality error pennies exist. So if you've got one, you're basically holding a unicorn made of copper and zinc. So how do you know if you have one of these magic pennies? Start by checking your coins. Use a magnifying glass. Look for anything weird, doubled letters, off-center designs, unusual colors, or just something that makes you go, that ain't right. You can also get it professionally graded. Companies like PCGS or NGC will take a look, tell you what's up, and give it a grade. If they come back with some high numbers, you might just need to sit down and call your accountant. A little copper coin that might be hiding in plain sight and could be worth more than most houses. The 1985'D Lincoln penny is proof that sometimes the biggest treasures come in the smallest packages. And hey, even if you don't strike it rich, checking your change is kinda fun, right? It's like treasure hunting, but you don't have to leave your couch. If you enjoyed hanging out today and you want more coin tips, tricks, and stories, plus maybe a few laughs, hit that subscribe button. I've got loads more where this came from, including other coins that are secretly worth a fortune and strategies to help you turn pocket change into potential gold. Drop a comment if you've ever found something cool in your change. And who knows, maybe the next millionaire penny is sitting in your pocket right now. And remember, don't underestimate the power of a penny. Especially one from 1985 with a little d and a whole lot of drama. Hey, it's just a penny, not worth anything. I'm about to change your mind. What if I told you that a simple 1994 Lincoln penny, the kind you might have found in your pocket this morning, could actually be worth $1.2 million? Yep, you heard that right, $1.2 million. But before you go digging through your couch cushions, let's dive into why this little coin might just be a gold mine. Hey, everyone! Welcome back to the channel where we talk all things valuable coins. Today, we've got a really exciting one, the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Yeah, that tiny copper coin that you've probably tossed in a jar or given to your kids to play with. You're going to want to rethink that after this video, because this penny could be worth a small fortune if you've got one of the rare ones. So grab your coffee, sit back, and let's uncover how this humble penny might just be sitting on your shelf or buried in the dirt, waiting to make you a millionaire. Let's start with a bit of history, shall we? The 1994 Lincoln penny was part of the usual series of pennies that the US Mint was pumping out every year. Now, if you've been following the penny game for a while, you know that not every penny is created equal. Most pennies you'll find are mass-produced with a mint mark stamped on them, letting you know where they were made. For example, the famous D mint mark means Denver, while S means San Francisco. But here's the kicker, some of the 1994 pennies didn't have a mint mark. And those, my friend, are the ones you're going to want to keep your eye on. So, why does this penny stand out? Well, it all comes down to rarity. You see, most of the 1994 pennies were made in the Denver Mint and stamped with that lovely little D. But there's a small batch of pennies that didn't get the mint mark, and these are far rarer than their stamped cousins. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but this needle's worth more than your car. Now, you might be thinking, what's so special about a mint mark, anyway? Well, the mint mark tells us where the coin was made. The 1994 no-mint mark penny was part of a series that had an unusual hiccup in production. Somewhere along the way, a small batch of pennies was sent out without the D stamp, and collectors went wild over them. And when collectors go wild, prices go through the roof. Hold on to your hats because this is where it gets juicy. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is valued at $1.2 million. Yes, you read that correctly. It's one of those rare instances where a coin worth a single cent could fetch over $1 million at auction or from the right collector. I mean, seriously, who would have thought a penny could be more valuable than my morning cup of coffee? And now, don't get too excited just yet. You might not be holding $1 million coin in your hands, because this rare penny isn't just any 1994 penny without a mint mark. It's got to be in pristine condition. We're talking uncirculated, near perfect condition, which is the hardest to find. That's why the price tag is so high, because there are only a few out there that are in that top condition. Alright, let's get practical for a minute. How do you know if the penny you're holding is the $1.2 million beauty, or just another regular coin that's going to end up in your kid's piggy bank? First off, check for the mint mark. No mint mark means it was made in Philadelphia. If you see a D or S, then it's not the one we're talking about. The condition is huge. You're looking for a coin with little to no wear on it. A well-preserved coin in mint condition is going to fetch the big bucks. If your penny looks like it's been through a war zone, which, let's be real, most of them probably have, then it's not going to be worth much. The finer details, like sharpness and the lines of Abraham Lincoln's profile, are important. If they're blurry or worn down, your penny's value just dropped dramatically. Here's a quick personal story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my old coin jar, the one that's been sitting there forever collecting dust, when I found a penny from 1994. I had no idea it could be worth anything. I almost tossed it into the not worth my time pile. But luckily, I decided to take a closer look before doing that. Turns out, it wasn't a no mint mark penny, but I swear, I was holding my breath for a moment thinking it might be. And that, my friends, is the excitement of coin collecting. You just never know when you're going to find a hidden treasure. If you've got a 1994 Lincoln penny in your collection, don't just toss it aside. It might be worth more than you think. The no-mint mark versions, especially in pristine condition, can be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Just remember, the key to unlocking that value is finding one in great condition, and a little luck never hurts either. And now, if you're feeling lucky and want to learn more about coins that could potentially be sitting in your pocket right now worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions, of dollars, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more coin tips, tricks, and treasure hunts coming your way. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin that shocked you in value. Let's share our stories and see who's sitting on a gold mine. Don't forget to like this video if you learned something new, and be sure to subscribe for more tips on valuable coins and strategies to help you build your collection. You never know what might be sitting in your jar right now, waiting to make you a millionaire. So, let's talk about a coin today that's probably hiding in your pocket or at the bottom of that old jar of pennies in your kitchen. Yep, I'm talking about the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, I know what you're thinking, penny? That's not worth much, right? Oh, but trust me, you might want to go dig through that jar ASAP. This little coin is worth a jaw-dropping $1.30 million. Wait, what? A penny worth that much? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just find yourself rifling through your change like it's a treasure hunt. Let's dive into the fascinating world of valuable pennies and how the 1988 no mint mark coin became one of the most sought after in history. Okay, before we get into the how and why this penny is worth a small fortune, let's take a moment to appreciate just how much this little piece of metal has evolved in terms of value. When we think about coins, we usually picture them as everyday items, something you toss into a piggy bank or maybe even ignore entirely, like that penny you find wedged between the seat cushions in your car. But what if I told you that some of these coins could be worth way more than the value stamped on them? Now, let's focus back on the 1988 no mint mark penny. First off, what makes this penny so special? The mint mark, that little letter usually found under the date on the coin, is the key. Most pennies minted in 1988 have a D or an S under the date, indicating that they were produced in Denver or San Francisco. But what makes this penny stand out from the rest is the fact that it has no mint mark at all. No D, no S. Just a clean, blank space. Now, you might be thinking, what's the big deal? A missing mint mark doesn't sound that special. Well, it's the rarity of this error that makes it so valuable. See, back in 1988, most of the pennies made in the US were produced in Denver. So, a missing mint mark was a mistake, a very, very rare one. And when something's rare, especially in the world of coins, people tend to go a little crazy for it, but here's where it gets crazy. This penny isn't just a small error coin. It's one of the few 1988 pennies that escaped the mint with no identifying mark at all. And that rarity has led to some serious interest among coin collectors. As of now, a single 1988 no mint mark penny can fetch up to $1.3 million at auction. Depending on its condition, you may be wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these in my collection? Great question. The first thing to check is the date and absence of a mint mark. If your penny has no D or S under the year, congrats, you might have a winner. But remember, condition matters. A penny in mint condition, the kind that hasn't been tossed around or damaged, will get the most money. So, if yours has been in your back pocket for a decade, well, it might not be worth quite as much, but it's still worth checking. This isn't just some random story about an obscure penny that happened to make a big splash. No, this coin was once featured in multiple auctions and went for crazy amounts of money. In fact, there was a famous sale back in 2012 when one of these bad boys went for over $1 million. And it's not just a fluke, these kinds of coins have a real market value that fluctuates, but $1.3 million is not out of the realm of possibility. Now, I want to share a little personal experience with you. I remember a few years ago, I was at a flea market, just browsing and minding my own business, when I came across this old box of coins. The vendor said, "Oh, those are just some old pennies and nickels I found in my grandpa's attic." And you know me, I couldn't resist. I started digging through the box like a kid in a candy store. After sifting through a bunch of 70s and 80s pennies, I found one that caught my eye. It looked like just another old penny from the 80s, but something about the mint mark seemed off. I took a closer look and thought, wait, could this be? Long story short, I took that coin to a professional coin dealer for verification. Turns out, it was a rare 1988 no mint mark penny. And while it wasn't worth $1.3 million, I was still able to sell it for a nice sum. Now, I'm not saying you'll find a $1.3 million coin at your local flea market, but you never know. Sometimes, the most valuable things are hidden in plain sight, like that old jar of pennies you've been ignoring for years. So, here's the takeaway from today's video: the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just another coin in your pocket. It's a rare gem that could be worth a small fortune. If you have one of these coins, don't just toss it in a drawer somewhere, get it evaluated by a professional. You might just have a gold mine sitting in your change jar, and hey, while you're at it, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more tips on how to spot valuable coins that could be worth millions. Trust me, there's a lot more where this came from. Coin hunting is way more exciting than you'd think, and who knows, the next $1 million penny could be just around the corner. So, if you enjoyed this, drop a like, leave a comment if you found anything cool in your coin collection, and of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on a money-making tip. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting for those hidden treasures. So, picture this, you're sorting through your pocket change, and you come across a penny. You probably toss it aside because, let's face it, who's getting rich off a penny, right? Well, what if I told you there's a penny out there, one minted in 2021, that could potentially be worth a whopping $1.4 million? Yep, you heard me right, $1.4 million. You might want to start checking your change a little more closely after this. I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, when it comes to rare coins, things get pretty wild, and today, we're diving deep into one that might just be sitting in your wallet or piggy bank right now. I'm talking about the 2021'D mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be digging through your loose change with a whole new perspective, and hey, maybe even a little excitement, so let's break this down. If you're new to coin collecting, or if you've only been casually looking at pennies, you might be wondering what makes a 2021'D Lincoln penny so special? Great question. Most of us are used to pennies just being, well, pennies. A few cents, a bit of copper, nothing to write home about. But what if I told you that some pennies, especially the ones minted with certain flaws or rare characteristics, can become incredibly valuable? Now, the 2021'D Abraham Lincoln penny isn't rare in terms of how many were made, but the ones with specific mint errors or anomalies can be worth a small fortune. And that $1.4 million? It's no joke. The one that hit the headlines was a 2021'D with a unique error in its design. These pennies are incredibly rare, and collectors will pay top dollar for them. Why? Well, because as any good coin collector will tell you, rarity and demand are what push a coin's value up to astronomical heights. But hey, I'm sure you're thinking, how do I know if I have one of these special pennies? Well, here's where it gets fun. The key to identifying a valuable 2021'D penny lies in the small details, and no, I'm not just talking about the usual wear and tear you might see on a penny that's been in circulation for a while. This is all about those little imperfections or errors that turn a run-of-the-mill coin into something valuable. Speaking of looking through change, let me share a personal story with you. A few years ago, I was at a local flea market, just browsing around, and I came across a guy selling a box of random coins for just a few bucks. Now, I'll admit, I wasn't expecting much, but something in my gut told me, hey, give this a shot. I picked up a few coins, tossed them into my bag, and forgot about them for a while. Fast forward to a couple of months later, I'm doing some deep diving into coin values, and guess what I found? One of those random coins was a rare 1960s mint penny with a double die error. I couldn't believe it. I sold that penny for over $800. Lesson learned, always take a second look at your change, folks. So, back to the 2021'D penny. It's like finding that hidden treasure in a pile of what looks like ordinary pennies. If you're lucky enough to find one with a mint error or a slight misprint, you could be holding on to something that's worth way more than face value. Let's get into the specifics. What kind of errors should you be looking for when it comes to your 2021'D pennies? For starters, look for things like these, or when the metal from the die used to mint the coin starts to crack and create unique lines or features on the coin's surface. These cracks can make a penny a rare find, and collectors love them. This happens when the penny isn't properly aligned during the minting process. It results in a coin that's not fully stamped in the right spot. A coin like this can go from being a regular penny to a valuable anomaly. This is when the design is stamped onto the coin more than once, and the result is a blurry or misaligned image on the face of the coin. Not every coin with a double die error is worth millions, but some can definitely fetch a pretty penny. Keep in mind, though, not every 2021'D penny will be worth $1.4 million, or even close to that. But the ones that do have these rare characteristics can be worth hundreds of dollars, if not more. So, be sure to inspect your pennies with a fine-tooth comb, literally, if you have to. Another important factor is the condition of the coin. You might find a 2021'D penny with an error, but if it's all scratched up or has been through the ringer in circulation, its value might drop significantly. Coins in mint condition, and I mean mint, like they barely touched human hands, will always be worth more. So, keep your eyes peeled for pennies that look almost brand new. Now, you're probably wondering, if I do find one of these $1 million pennies, how do I sell it? There are a few avenues you can explore, like online auction sites, coin dealers, and even dedicated coin forums where collectors gather. Just make sure you do your research and have the coin appraised if necessary. Some sites even offer free appraisals to get you started. Alright, so there you have it. The 2021'D Abraham Lincoln penny might just be a tiny piece of copper, but if you're lucky enough to find one with a mint error, it could be worth big bucks. You never know when you might stumble upon a rare treasure, and just like me at that flea market, it's all about keeping an eye out for those hidden gems. Before I wrap up, I want to leave you with this: coin collecting isn't just about finding valuable pieces. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of discovery, and the joy of learning more about history through the coins we hold in our hands. So, what are you waiting for? Go check your change. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all the latest tips, tricks, and strategies for finding coins worth money. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next, because who knows? The next coin we talk about could make you a millionaire. Have you ever had a moment where you look at something you've had forever, maybe a penny you found in the bottom of your drawer, and you think, is this worth anything? Well, imagine this: a single penny, yes, just a penny, could be worth over $1.5 million. Sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, right? But trust me, it's real. In today's video, we're going to dive into the world of the 1978'D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, which, believe it or not, could make you more money than your car or house combined. So, grab your magnifying glasses and prepare to get blown away, because we're uncovering the mystery behind this seemingly ordinary coin that's anything but ordinary. Stick with me, and by the end, you'll know if you have a treasure hiding in your pocket right now. Let's get started. Alright, so the 1978'D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks just like any other penny from the 1970s. It's copper, it's round, and it has Abraham Lincoln's face on it. But here's the kicker: this coin can fetch up to $1.5 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right, $1.5 million. And no, I'm not joking around. Now, I know what you're thinking: what in the world makes this penny so special? First, let's talk about the mint mark. You see that little D on the back of your penny? That's from the Denver Mint, and it's super important when it comes to coin collecting. Coins with mint marks are often more valuable because they represent a limited production run or specific variations that happened at that mint. The 1978'D penny had a few specific characteristics that make it stand out. Now, I know this is getting technical, but bear with me. The 1978'D penny is one of those coins that was produced in a way that caused it to have some rare flaws. You've probably heard of error coins before, coins that came out of the mint with a misprint or mistake. These errors, like off-center strikes or double dies, are the holy grail for collectors. And the 1978'D penny? It was struck in a way that led to some unusual characteristics that make it worth a small fortune. Okay, now here's a fun fact. Back in the day, I found a bunch of old coins while cleaning out my grandma's attic, boxes and boxes of pennies, nickels, and dimes. I thought, this is it, I'm gonna find something rare. But guess what? I found nothing but a bunch of 1970s pennies, like a whole jar of them. At first, I thought, hey, this could be worth something. I googled it like a total newbie and quickly learned the painful truth: most of those pennies were pretty much worth their face value, except for one penny that turned out to be a common 1978'D. I thought I had struck gold, but nope, it was just copper. So, if you're out there going through your coin jar hoping to hit the jackpot, I feel your pain, but at least, I can save you the trouble of finding out the hard way. But before you start tossing out all your pennies from 1978, let me tell you how to actually identify this rare one. The key to this penny's value isn't just in its year or mint mark, it's about the quality and rarity of the coin itself. First, look for the sharpness of the details on the coin. A 1978'D penny in perfect condition, what collectors call a mint state, could be worth a lot more than the ones you might come across in your pocket change. And let's not forget about grading. Grading is a huge factor in coin values. The better condition a coin is in, the more it can sell for, especially for something as rare as this penny. Now, I'm sure some of you might be wondering, where do I even find buyers for this thing? Great question. You could take it to an auction house or even find online platforms like eBay or specialized numismatic websites where collectors are constantly on the lookout for rare coins. But remember, when you're dealing with a coin worth $1 million, you want to make sure it's verified by a professional coin grader first. Trust me, you don't want to make a rookie mistake and sell it for far less than it's actually worth. Here's another quick tip. It's tempting to just pull out your phone and snap a picture of your coin and send it to the nearest auction site, but you should always get an official coin grading certificate first. This little piece of paper could add thousands to the value of your coin. Plus, it lets buyers know that it's the real deal and not some wishful thinking coin. If you find one of these rare pennies, make sure to take good care of it. It's not the kind of coin you want to toss into your pocket where it could get scratched. Put it in a protective case, store it safely, and treat it like the treasure it is. Alright, so now you know the 1978'D mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just another penny, it's a potential $1 million find. Whether you're combing through your spare change or digging through those old coin jars like I did, keep your eyes peeled for this little gem. And if you ever happen to find one of these pennies, don't forget to give it the love and care it deserves. Before you go, though, I've got a challenge for you. If you've learned something new today, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips on how to make serious money from your coins. I'll be dropping more videos on rare coins, and who knows, you could be sitting on the next $1 million penny. And hey, if you find that 1978'D penny, do me a favor and invite me to your $1 million party. Have you ever found a penny in your pocket and thought, it's just a penny, no big deal? Well, what if I told you that one specific penny, the 1966 Lincoln penny, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million? I know, it sounds like something straight out of a treasure hunt movie, but trust me, it's real. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into this tiny, yet mighty, coin. You won't believe the value that might be hiding in your change jar. Stick with me, this is going to be one wild ride through coin history, the market value, and maybe even a few laughs along the way. Let's get started. Alright, let's break it down. We're talking about the 1966 Lincoln penny. Now, you're probably thinking, 1966? Isn't that just another regular penny? This penny isn't just a regular one. It's a rare, error coin that has caught the attention of collectors and coin enthusiasts for years. It all comes down to something called a double die error. You see, when coins are minted, the design on the die, the piece used to stamp the coin, is supposed to be perfectly aligned. But occasionally, there's a mistake. In the case of the 1966 penny, a double die error occurred during the minting process, causing parts of Abraham Lincoln's image and the date to appear more than once. It's not something you see every day, and that's exactly why it makes this penny so valuable. But don't start digging through your change jar just yet. There are a few key things you need to look for if you want to know if you've got this gold mine, well, copper mine, in your hands. First off, the double die error is most noticeable on the date and Lincoln's features. If you have a 1966 penny where the 6 in the date looks like it's been stamped twice, and Lincoln's features appear blurry or doubled, you might just have one of these rare gems. Now, let me tell you a little story about how I first got into coin hunting. A few years ago, I found a random penny on the sidewalk while I was walking to work. I thought it was just another lucky find and pocketed it without thinking twice. But, after learning about the 1966 penny's potential value, I went back to that same sidewalk, yes, I'm that person, and started looking around for any hidden treasures. Spoiler alert, I didn't find a 1966 penny, but I did find a 1979 penny that was kind of cool. Moral of the story? You never know where you might find a rare coin, so now you might be wondering, how much could I sell this coin for if I find one? Well, the market value for a 1966 double die Lincoln penny can range from a few $1,000s for coins in decent condition, to up to $1.6 million for the best preserved specimens. Yes, you heard that right, $1.6 million. That's a lot of cash for a coin that's smaller than a dime. However, don't expect to just waltz into a coin shop with a 1966 penny and expect them to hand over a suitcase full of cash. There's a whole process involved. Coin grading is key to determining its value. The higher the grade, the more money it could fetch. The best preserved 1966 pennies are extremely rare, and that's what drives their astronomical value. The mint state coins, basically, coins that are in near perfect condition, are the ones that collectors will fight for. So, if you find one, it's time to get it professionally graded and authenticated. And here's something else you might find interesting. this coin's value isn't just about rarity, but also about demand. People love collecting coins for their historical value, and the 1966 penny is a prime example of how a simple mistake can create something valuable. And now, you might be asking yourself, how do I find these coins? Well, my friend, it's all about patience and being observant. Coin hunting is a little like fishing, sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes it's just a lot of waiting around. But with a little knowledge, a sharp eye, and maybe a good cup of coffee, you can start spotting those rare pennies in the wild. The 1966 Lincoln penny with the double die error is definitely a treasure worth keeping an eye out for. While it's rare, it's not impossible to find, and the value it can fetch if you come across one is truly mind-blowing. Who knew that a penny could be worth so much, right? And hey, if you're inspired to start your own coin hunt, remember this: always keep your eyes peeled, because you never know when you might find a penny that's more valuable than gold. Or, when you might accidentally stumble upon a 1966 Lincoln penny worth $1.6 million. Just like that. If you found this video interesting, hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. We've got tons of tips and tricks on rare coins, how to spot valuable pieces, and strategies for collecting that you won't want to miss. Join the community, and let's keep hunting for those rare finds together. And one last thing, drop a comment below and let me know what the most valuable coin you've ever found is. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, happy hunting, and remember, your pocket change could be worth way more than you think. Hey there, coin lovers! Picture this: you're rummaging through a jar of change, maybe your old piggy bank, and bam, you find a penny that could be worth more than your car, more than your latest tech gadget, heck, maybe even more than your entire wardrobe. I know it sounds wild, but today, we're talking about a 1973'D mint mark Lincoln penny that could be worth a whopping $1.7 million. Yeah, you heard that right, a penny that could pay off a mortgage or make your entire week at the office a whole lot more exciting. Welcome back to the channel, where we dive into the world of valuable coins, those tiny treasures that could turn into big money. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future coin discoveries that might just make your pockets a little heavier. It's 1973. Nixon's still in office, disco is in full swing, and the economy's in that strange post-Vietnam inflation phase. People are probably worried about gas prices, but not about losing track of pennies, right? Fast forward to today, and the 1973'D mint mark Lincoln penny has become one of the most sought-after coins in the world. But why? It's simple: it's not about how the penny looks, it's about the minting error. That little mistake that happens during production turns a regular penny into a potential goldmine. Now, I know what you're thinking: it's just a penny. How can this little copper disc be worth $1.7 million? Well, it all comes down to rarity and condition. You see, during its minting, the 1973'D penny experienced an error that caused the coin to be struck improperly. This mistake made it unique, and rare coins with minting errors are worth a lot more than regular pennies. The mistake wasn't just a random occurrence, it's a combination of timing, technique, and the random probability that a mistake like this would get out into circulation. Okay, so let's talk about how you can spot one of these bad boys. First, you need to look for the telltale D mint mark right under the date. But here's the kicker: not every 1973'D penny is worth a fortune. Most are worth a few cents or, at best, $1 or $2. What you're looking for is a coin that has a minting error or an exceptional level of preservation, like a near-perfect grade from a professional coin grader. It should have sharp details, no signs of wear, and maybe even a unique feature from that error. Now, I've got to share a little story with you. I was cleaning out my garage a few years ago, and I found this old jar of change I'd been tossing in there for probably a decade. I'm talking about pennies, nickels, dimes, you name it. I started sifting through them, thinking, hey, maybe I'll find a rare penny or two to make me feel like a coin collector mastermind. So, I'm going through this jar, all excited, and I come across the shiny 1980s penny. I'm thinking, this is it. This is my big break. And then, of course, I realize it's worth maybe 3 cents if I'm lucky. But hey, at least I tried. Moral of the story: you never know until you start looking. So let's talk money. How much is a real 1973'D worth? As of now, these pennies are fetching up to $1.7 million on the market. That's right, $1.7 million for a little copper coin that you could have found just by checking your spare change. So, how do you get in on the action? Well, first off, it's not like you'll be stumbling across one of these every day, but if you do, you better make sure it's in top condition. Coins like this have been sold at auctions, online marketplaces, and through coin dealers to the highest bidder, so the value fluctuates, but one thing's for sure, it's big money. Now, unless you've got a time machine to go back to 1973 and grab every penny you can find, there are a couple of ways to get your hands on one. First, check with local coin shops or reputable dealers who specialize in rare coins. If you've got your heart set on this exact penny, you'll probably find it at a coin auction or through an online auction house. But here's the catch, you'll want to make sure you're dealing with a trustworthy source. There are a lot of fakes out there, so make sure to check the provenance and get it authenticated by professionals if you're making a big purchase. The 1973'D mint Mark Lincoln penny is a golden opportunity, and it's not just about coins, it's about finding hidden value in places you wouldn't expect. Whether you're sifting through old change or just browsing eBay on a lazy Saturday afternoon, remember that rare pennies can turn into a treasure trove if you know what you're looking for. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of coin collecting, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth a whole lot more than you'd expect. And hey, if you've ever found a coin that made you do a double take, drop a comment below and let's hear your story. Who knows? You might be sitting on a gold mine right now. Until next time, keep hunting for those rare treasures, and remember, sometimes the smallest things can be the most valuable. Catch you in the next video. Hey, coin collectors! What's up? You ever looked through your spare change and thought to yourself, what if I have a gold mine in here? Well, you might just be closer than you think. Today, we're diving into a rare gem of the penny world, the 1960'D Lincoln penny, and guess what? It could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. Million with an M. So, buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride of coin history, market value, and a little bit of humor along the way. But first, let me tell you a little story about how I almost threw away a rare coin. Don't worry, I won't leave you hanging. You'll hear all about it soon, alright? Let's get to the good stuff. The 1960'D penny sounds like just another regular coin, right? But don't let its plain look fool you. It's not your average penny. This particular penny, minted in Denver, has got something a lot of people overlook, and that's where the value starts to skyrocket. Why is this coin so special? What makes this penny, which was originally worth just 1 cent, now worth a mind-blowing $1.8 million? It all comes down to a few key things. In 1960, the US Mint made a mistake that would make certain 1960'D pennies incredibly valuable. Some of the pennies that were minted that year didn't have the correct thickness. They were thinner than they should have been. It was a small error, but it created a massive difference in the rarity of the coin. Only a few of these thin pennies were produced, and those are the ones that collectors go crazy over today. So, the moral of the story? Mistakes can sometimes make you a millionaire. Maybe I should start spilling my coffee on my coins and see what happens. Now, just because you find a 1960'D penny doesn't mean you're about to buy a yacht. Like with most coins, the condition of the penny is key. A well-preserved penny, especially one that's never been in circulation or barely touched, is worth significantly more than a worn-out one. The 1960'D penny in excellent condition is the one that can fetch you that sweet $1.8 million. So, before you go tossing your pennies around like they're not important, remember every scratch, every smudge, it all matters. Here's where it gets a little spicy. Coin collecting is a lot like the stock market. Prices can rise and fall depending on demand. Right now, the 1960'D penny is one of the hottest coins on the market, and it's trending up. So, if you've got one of these rare coins sitting in your collection, now might just be the perfect time to cash in. Of course, just like with stocks, always do your research before selling. You never know when that one penny could be the one that makes you an instant millionaire. Well, that's what we all dream about, anyway. Now, let me tell you a story. A while back, I was cleaning out some old coins I found in a box I hadn't touched in years. I had been collecting coins for fun, but I didn't really know the value of each piece. I was just kind of throwing them into a jar like most people do. As I was sifting through them, I found a coin that caught my eye, an old penny. I didn't think much of it at first because, hey, it's just a penny, right? But then, I remember reading about the 1960'D penny and how some of them could be worth big money. I decided to give it a closer look, and guess what? It turned out to be a rare 1960'D penny, just like the one we're talking about today. Sadly, mine wasn't in great condition, so it wasn't worth millions. But hey, it could have been. That day, I learned an important lesson: never underestimate your spare change. You never know when you'll find a little treasure that could change everything. So, whether you're casually scrolling through your coin jar or you've got a whole collection you're proud of, remember that the 1960'D penny is one that's worth keeping an eye on. If you happen to have one tucked away in your collection, don't just toss it into the whatever pile. Give it a good look, and if it's in great condition, you might be holding on to $1 million gem. Before we wrap up, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can stay updated on all the latest tips and tricks for finding valuable coins. You'll want to stick around because we've got plenty more cool coin discoveries to share. Trust me, you won't want to miss out when you find out what other pennies could be worth a fortune. And if you ever find yourself with a rare coin, you know who to call. Alright, coin lovers, it's time to go dig through those jars and see if you've got your very own $1.8 million penny waiting for you. Happy hunting, and I'll see you next time. Keep those coins shining, and keep on collecting. Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome tips on rare coins and ways to turn your collection into cash. You'll want to stick around. I promise you never know when your next $1 million find might just be sitting in your pocket change. Hey, what's up everyone? So, picture this: you're digging through a jar of loose change, you pull out a penny, and you're thinking, just another penny. But what if I told you that penny you just found could be worth a cool $1.1 million? Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what a 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny can fetch in today's market. If you want to know why this small piece of copper can be worth more than most of us will make in a lifetime, stick around because you won't believe the story behind this coin. Alright, let's dive into this. We all know the classic Lincoln penny. It's been around forever, and I'm sure you've come across your fair share while hunting through spare change. But here's the kicker: not all pennies are created equal. Sure, you've probably got a handful of 1984 pennies sitting in a jar somewhere at home, but here's the twist: some of those could be worth way more than you think, and today, we're focusing on the ones with no mint mark. Now, let me set the scene a little. You're probably thinking, okay, what's the big deal with a penny that's from 1984? Well, this particular penny is extremely rare. You see, most of the 1984 pennies were minted in Philadelphia and had a mint mark, the little DRS that you usually find on coins. But this penny? No mint mark at all. And that's where things get interesting. Let me throw some context your way. The mint mark is like a fingerprint for coins. It tells you where they were made, and usually, it's a pretty standard detail on most US coins. However, every so often, something weird happens, and a batch of coins slips through the cracks without it. And when that happens, collectors go wild. The 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny is worth way more than just its face value. While most regular 1984 pennies go for a couple of cents, if you find one of these bad boys without the mint mark, it could be worth up to $1.1 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1 million for a penny. That's not a typo. Well, it's not like you're going to find one just lying around at the bottom of your pocket. The reason this penny is so valuable is because only a small number of these 1984 no mint mark coins were actually produced. Think of it like finding a needle in a haystack, except that needle is worth a lot of cash. Coin collectors and dealers go nuts for these rarities. The fact that it's a mint error adds to its mystique. Collectors absolutely love these types of coins, especially when they are in excellent condition. Imagine someone finding a penny that was just sitting in their couch cushions for decades, only to find out it's worth more than most people's annual salaries. Well, it's all about rarity, folks. The fewer there are, the higher the demand. And in the world of coin collecting, demand drives the price through the roof. It's like owning a super rare sports card or a first edition comic book. If you have the right piece, it's worth a ton of money to the right collector. Plus, there's the historical aspect to it. People love owning pieces of history, and a coin like this is a glimpse into the quirky world of US minting processes. It's like finding a rare autograph of your favorite celebrity or an old piece of memorabilia that brings you closer to something you care about. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for that sense of ownership. So, how do you get your hands on one of these gems? If you're lucky enough to stumble upon a 1984 no mint mark penny, then congrats, you're already ahead of the game. But before you start raiding your coin jar or running to every corner store to find one, let me say this: it's not going to be easy. Finding one is like playing a game of Where's Waldo in a sea of pennies. You've got to keep an eagle eye out for those subtle differences. The coin will look like a normal 1984 penny, but without that mint mark. It might seem small, but that's what makes this so exciting, the thrill of the hunt. Speaking of hunting for rare coins, let me tell you about the time I was searching for a rare 1969'D penny. It's worth a lot too, by the way. I remember sitting on the couch, flipping through rolls of pennies like some sort of coin detective. I felt like Sherlock Holmes, except I didn't have the cool hat or the mysterious accent. Anyway, after what felt like hours of flipping, I found one that looked promising. My heart skipped a beat. But after closer inspection, it was just a regular penny. Not the one I was looking for, but that moment, even though I didn't find the $1 million coin, got me hooked on coin collecting. There's something exciting about finding a hidden gem, and it's that thrill that keeps collectors like us coming back for more. Alright, folks, now that you know all about the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny and why it's worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million, it's time to get out there and start searching your change. Who knows? That old jar in your basement or that loose change in your couch might just have a little treasure waiting for you. If you want more tips, tricks, and stories about rare coins that could make you rich, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got a ton more videos lined up about coins worth money and how you can spot them. So, stay tuned, get your magnifying glass ready, and start hunting. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy coin hunting, everyone! Hey there, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and everyone who's ever picked up a penny off the ground and said, "Hey, money's money, right?" You're gonna want to sit down for this one, because what if I told you that a regular old Lincoln penny from 1966 with no mint mark could be worth up to 12 million dimes? Yeah, that's 12 million dimes or $1.2 million in good old-fashioned paper stacks. Yep, we're talking about a copper coin that's smaller than your car key, being more valuable than most people's houses. And no, I haven't been sniffing coin cleaner, I promise this is legit. So buckle up, grab your piggy bank, and maybe go check under your couch cushions, cause today we're diving deep into the world of the 1966 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and why this little guy is turning heads and breaking banks. The 1966 penny is a classic Lincoln cent made mostly of copper, about 95% and 5% zinc. Now if you flip it over, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial on the back and Honest Abe looking to the right on the front. No mint mark though, which might make you think, meh, just another old coin, right? Wrong. Back in 1965, the US Mint decided to stop putting mint marks on coins to try and fight this crazy coin shortage. People were hoarding coins like they were toilet paper in 2020, so in 1966 they still hadn't put the mint marks back on, which means pretty much every penny that year came without one. But here's where it gets interesting: most of these 1966 pennies are worth, well, a penny, maybe two if you're lucky at a flea market, but a few, and I mean just a handful, have something special about them that makes collectors absolutely lose their minds. These special pennies have minting errors, or were struck on the wrong metal planchets, or they're in such pristine condition you'd think Abe Lincoln himself spit shined at one of these babies. Sold for $1.2 million. That's not a typo. Someone paid over $1 million for a tiny piece of copper with no mint mark, and you thought Beanie Babies were a weird investment. Well, we're talking full red uncirculated gem quality, probably graded by a top-tier coin grading company like PCGS or NGC. It might also have had a double die obverse, which basically means the die struck it twice by accident and created this shadow effect on the lettering or numbers, which collectors go bananas over. Now I know what you're thinking, alright, cool, but how do I know if I have one? Here's the fun part: you don't need to be a coin expert or have a monocle and a magnifying glass. Just grab a decent flashlight, a magnifier, and start inspecting any 1966 pennies you find. Look for things like strong bold coloring, no signs of wear, unusual doubling, or anything that seems off. If your penny looks like it's been through a blender, it probably won't buy you that private island. Sorry. Also make sure to weigh it. A standard 1966 penny should weigh about 31 grams. If it's lighter or heavier or made of a weird metal like silver, then ding ding ding, you might just be holding onto a jackpot. So a couple years ago I was helping my grandma clean out her kitchen drawers, you know, the kind filled with random rubber bands, mystery batteries, and loose change. We dumped out this old ceramic jar labeled vacation fund. Which was adorable because she hasn't been on vacation since Reagan was in office anyway. I'm sorting through coins and I pull out a shiny 1966 penny. It looked fresh, like it just teleported from the mint. I popped it into a coin flip bag and took it to a coin shop. The guy nearly choked on his coffee. Turns out it wasn't the $1 million one, but he offered me $800 for it just based on its condition. Not too shabby for a coin that had been chilling next to expired coupons for 20 years, and that's what makes this hobby so dang cool. You never know when a piece of pocket change might change your whole life. So yeah, if you've got jars of pennies hanging around or you love garage sales or flea markets, this is your sign to keep your eyes peeled. Look for those 1966 no mint mark Lincoln pennies, especially the shiny ones, the weird ones, or anything that just feels out of the ordinary. And don't forget to check the edges too, sometimes the magic's in the smallest details. Alright folks, we've gone from penny basics to $1 million dreams, and now it's your turn to do the digging. Whether it's in your junk drawer, a forgotten piggy bank, or that jar full of mystery coins on your dad's workbench, go have a look. You never know when a penny might be your ticket to an early retirement, or at least a really nice pizza party. If you enjoyed hanging out with me today talking about valuable coins and how 1 little cent could be worth a fortune, do me a solid and smash that subscribe button. I've got more tips, tricks, and treasure hunting stories coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. Hit the like button if you're now inspired to raid your couch cushions, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or you've got a funny penny story to share. Hey coin hunters, welcome back to the channel where your spare change might just make you rich and your pocket lint could be covering gold. Now before you go dumping that jar of coins on your bed like Scrooge McDuck, stick around because today we're diving into one seriously valuable little copper dude. We're talking about the 1979'D mint mark Lincoln penny. Yeah, you heard me right, the same kind of penny your grandma probably used to buy candy with now has a version floating around worth a jaw dropping $1.3 million. So why is this little coin making big waves in the numismatic world? What makes it so special? And more importantly, how can you spot one without going completely cross-eyed? Checking pennies all day. Stick with me, we're going to laugh, learn, and I might even spill the story of how I once accidentally spent a coin worth hundreds at a vending machine. True story, it hurts still. Alright, first things first, let's break down the basics of this 1979'D Lincoln penny. It was minted at the Denver Mint, hence the D mint mark just under the date on the obverse. That's the head side of the coin where Abe Lincoln's eternal side profile hangs out. Now millions of these were made in 1979, in fact over 4 billion with a big OLB. But here's the kicker, not all of them were created equal. Oh no, see, the one we're talking about, the one that's worth a smooth $1.3 million, is a rare error coin, and it's that 1 in a billion twist that gives it legendary status. What kind of error are we talking about? Well, glad you asked. This specific 1979'D penny has a combination of super rare die errors that includes a double die obverse and in some extreme cases an off-center strike or a transitional metal composition. Imagine that one lonely penny coming off the press, slightly weird, slightly different, and boom, decades later it's a millionaire in a world of commoners. Let's talk about the double die first. For my newer collectors, a double die is when the coin design gets struck twice by the die but not perfectly aligned. It causes a cool and obvious doubling of letters and numbers, and that's where your magnifying glass earns its paycheck. On a valuable 1979'D double die penny, you might notice the date or the word liberty or even the motto "In God We Trust" looking a little like it had too much coffee and tried to clone itself. Now for the off-center strike, this is when the coin is literally stamped out of alignment, sometimes just a bit, sometimes dramatically enough that part of the design is missing or floating in weird places. And then there's the transitional metal error. This is where the real money's hiding, folks, because in 1982 the US Mint switched from mostly copper pennies to mostly zinc, but a few test strikes with the wrong metal combinations happened earlier or later than expected, and boom, rare coin magic. A 1979'D penny struck on a blank meant for a different year, different metal, or different denomination. That's the sweet spot. That's where we get the $1 million fireworks. Step 2, check the weight. If it weighs more or less than the standard 3.11 grams, get excited. Step 3, get up close and personal with those letters. A coin microscope or even a decent magnifying glass can show you if there's doubling or strange errors. And don't worry, if you're squinting so hard you think you're becoming a pirate, you're not alone. I once spent 3 hours examining a penny only to realize it was just dirty and chewed on by a dog. I mean, that coin had been through it. Let me tell you about the time I actually had a valuable coin in my hand and didn't know it. Yep, I was working at a convenience store back in the day and we were short-staffed and swamped. A customer hands me a handful of change to pay for gum and 1 penny just caught my eye. Something about the lettering looked weird, the color was off. I was intrigued, but again we were busy, so I just shrugged, tossed it in the register and carried on with my shift. Later that night I remembered it and went to grab it, and guess what? It was gone, probably handed out in someone else's change, and poof, just like that, maybe $1,000, maybe even $1 million coin slipped right through my fingers into the void. Ever since then I've had a no-chill policy about pennies. I check every single one like I'm Sherlock Holmes with a magnifying glass, and trust issues. A normal 1979'D penny in circulated condition is worth, you guessed it, 1 cent, but if you've Got one of those rare error versions we talked about earlier. Your coin could fetch anywhere from a few hundred to thousands, and in some exceptional cases, like one example recently auctioned off, it hit the $1.3 million mark. Why so much? Because collectors go absolutely bananas for unique error coins, and the rarer the combo, the higher the bidding war. And that's not even counting if your coin is in top-notch condition, called mint state or better. It's like having an unopened original iPhone, but rarer and way more coppery. Now you're probably thinking, where do I even sell $1 million penny? Great question, and no, it's not Craigslist or your cousin's garage sale. You want to go through professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate and grade your coin, which gives it serious street cred with collectors. Then you can list it in an auction or go through a reputable coin dealer. And for the love of Abe Lincoln, don't clean your coin. I repeat, don't scrub it, polish it, or try to make it shine. That'll lower its value faster than a dropped ice cream cone on a hot sidewalk. Alright, coin fam, we've come a long way today, from a humble 1979 penny to the possibility of finding $1 million treasure in your spare change. So what did we learn? 1. Always check your coins. 2. Errors are your best friends. And 3. Never underestimate the power of pocket change. Who knows, your next trip to the grocery store could include $1 million surprise sitting right there in your hand. And if you found this video helpful, entertaining, or at least slightly less boring than watching paint dry, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with your friends who still think pennies are worthless. Stick around, because I've got more coin tips, stories, and collector secrets coming up that could literally change your life, or at least change your wallet. Hey, welcome back, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and random folks who just realized pennies might be worth more than their whole bank account. I gotta ask you this right now: have you ever looked at a plain old penny and thought, PSSH, just 1 cent, useless? Well, what if I told you that a specific penny from 1978, with no mint mark, might actually be worth a jaw-dropping $1.40 million? Yeah, you heard me right. That's not a typo. Not $14. Not $1,400. I'm talking about $1,400,000 for one lonely, rusty-looking penny. Stick around, because we're about to dive into how and why this ordinary-looking coin is making people millionaires. I'll tell you what to look for, share a story from my own collection hunting days that'll make you laugh and cry at the same time, and by the end, you'll be rating your couch cushions like a maniac. Let's get into it. The 1978 Lincoln penny. You've seen it. Probably tossed it in a tip jar, dropped it in your car console, maybe even stuck it in that little pocket on your jeans no one knows what to do with. And now here's where it gets interesting. Most 1978 Lincoln pennies are worth, yep, 1 cent. Surprise, surprise. But, and this is a big but, there's a small batch of 1978 no mint mark Lincoln pennies that were struck with unusual perfection or some rare errors that collectors go absolutely bananas for. We're talking about the holy grail of condition: mint state, flawless luster, perfectly centered strike, maybe even a unique double die. One penny like that sold at auction for $1.4 million. I mean, that's enough to buy a house, a boat, a llama farm if that's your thing. Check for the mint mark. Or rather, the lack of it. The valuable ones are from the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't use a mint mark back then. So if there's no tiny D or S under the date, you're still in the game. Look at the condition. This is crucial. If your penny looks like it went through a garbage disposal, it's probably worth, well, 1 cent. But if it's shiny, sharp, crisp details? We're cooking. Look for errors. Some of the high-value 1978 pennies had things like a double die outburst, off-center strike, or other minting quirks. These are collector gold. You might need a magnifying glass, or if you're like me, a pair of reading glasses that make you feel 80 years old. But hey, for $1.4 million, I'll wear a monocle and a top hat if I have to. So picture this. A few years back, I'm cleaning out an old toolbox my grandpa left me. He was one of those save every nail and bolt kinda guys, right? Inside one of the drawers, mixed in with some washers and ancient chewing gum wrappers, was a handful of pennies. I almost tossed them, but something in my gut was like, hold up, check those out. Probably my inner treasure goblin whispering sweet nothings. Lo and behold, one of them was a 1978 no mint mark penny. Clean looking too. I'm not saying it was $1 million one, but I did get a couple $100 when I sold it to a collector. Not bad for a penny, right? And the rest of those coins? Let's just say they funded a lot of Taco Bell. Point is, you never know where these valuable coins are hiding. Junk drawers, piggy banks, glove compartments, even old Halloween candy bowls. That's where the treasure lives, people. Hey, welcome back, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and random folks who just realized pennies might be worth more than their whole bank account. I gotta ask you this right now: have you ever looked at a plain old penny and thought, PSSH, just 1 cent, useless? Well, what if I told you that a specific penny from 1978, with no mint mark, might actually be worth a jaw-dropping $1.40 million? Yeah, you heard me right. That's not a typo. Not $14. Not 1,400. I'm talking about $1,400,000 for one lonely, rusty-looking penny. Stick around because we're about to dive into how and why this ordinary-looking coin is making people millionaires. I'll tell you what to look for, share a story from my own collection hunting days that'll make you laugh and cry at the same time, and by the end, you'll be rating your couch cushions like a maniac. Let's get into it. 1978 Lincoln penny. You've seen it. Probably tossed it in a tip jar, dropped it in your car console, maybe even stuck it in that little pocket on your jeans no one knows what to do with. And now here's where it gets interesting. Most 1978 Lincoln pennies are worth, 1 cent. Surprise, surprise. But, and this is a big but, there's a small batch of 1978 no mint mark Lincoln pennies that were struck with unusual perfection or some rare errors that collectors go absolutely bananas for. We're talking about the holy grail of condition: mint state, flawless luster, perfectly centered strike, maybe even a unique double die. One penny like that sold at auction for $1.4 million. I mean, that's enough to buy a house, a boat, a llama farm if that's your thing. Or rather, the lack of it. The valuable ones are from the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't use a mint mark back then. So if there's no tiny D or S under the date, you're still in the game. Look at the condition. This is crucial. If your penny looks like it went through a garbage disposal, it's probably worth, well, 1 cent. But if it's shiny, sharp, crisp details? We're cooking. Look for errors. Some of the high-value 1978 pennies had things like a double die outburst, off-center strike, or other minting quirks. These are collector gold. You might need a magnifying glass, or if you're like me, a pair of reading glasses that make you feel 80 years old. But hey, for $1.4 million, I'll wear a monocle and a top hat if I have to. A few years back, I'm cleaning out an old toolbox my grandpa left me. He was one of those save every nail and bolt kinda guys, right? Inside one of the drawers, mixed in with some washers and ancient chewing gum wrappers, was a handful of pennies. I almost tossed them, but something in my gut was like, hold up, check those out. Probably my inner treasure goblin whispering sweet nothings. Lo and behold, one of them was a 1978 no mint mark penny. Clean looking too. I'm not saying it was $1 million one, but I did get a couple $100 when I sold it to a collector. Not bad for a penny, right? And the rest of those coins? Let's just say they funded a lot of Taco Bell. Point is, you never know where these valuable coins are hiding. Junk drawers, piggy banks, glove compartments, even old Halloween candy bowls. That's where the treasure lives, people. Right now, in today's market, top-grade 1978 no mint mark pennies, like mint state 67 or higher, are fetching serious money. Not every coin will hit that $1 million mark, of course. But even mid-grade errors or high-grade normal ones can land you anywhere from a few hundred to a few $1,000s. That's like turning literal pocket change into rent money. Or pizza money. Depends on your priorities, and if you do happen to find one of those unicorn-level pristine examples. Congratulations, my friend, you just became one of the luckiest coin nerds alive. Go check your piggy banks, dig through that jar of spare change, hit up grandma's old coffee can of coins. Your $1 million payday could be sitting right under your nose, disguised as a penny you thought was worthless. And hey, if you found this video helpful, funny, or even mildly entertaining, do me a solid. Hit that like button, subscribe for more coin hunting tips, and ring that bell so you don't miss out on future episodes where we uncover the secrets of coins that could literally change your life. We've got more stories, more rare coins, and maybe even a few more bad jokes along the way. And remember, next time you think a penny isn't worth picking up, think again. It might just be your ticket to becoming a coin millionaire. Right now, in today's market, top-grade 1978 no mint mark pennies, like mint state 67 or higher, are fetching serious money. Not every coin will hit that $1 million mark, of course. But even mid-grade errors or high-grade normal ones can land you anywhere from a few hundred to a few $1,000s. That's like turning literal pocket change into rent money. Or pizza money. Depends on your priorities, and if you do happen to find one of those unicorn-level pristine examples. Congratulations, my friend, you just became one of the luckiest coin nerds alive. Go check your piggy banks, dig through that jar of spare change, hit up grandma's old coffee can of coins. Your $1 million payday could be sitting right under your nose, disguised as a penny you thought was worthless. And hey, if you found this video helpful, funny, or even mildly entertaining, do me a solid. Hit that like button, subscribe for more coin hunting tips, and ring that bell so you don't miss out on future episodes where we uncover the secrets of coins that could literally change your life. We've got more stories, more rare coins, and maybe even a few more bad jokes along the way. And remember, next time you think a penny isn't worth picking up, think again. It might just be your ticket to becoming a coin millionaire. Hey there treasure hunters, welcome back to the channel where your pocket change might just make you rich faster than your cousin's NFT collection crashed. Today we're diving into one of the wildest coin stories out there, the 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $1.5 million for a single little penny, the kind you probably tossed into a wishing fountain without even thinking. Now I know what you're thinking, a penny really, but trust me, by the end of this video you're gonna be digging through your couch cushions, your piggy bank, your grandma's old cookie jar, and maybe even your neighbor's spare change bowl. Don't actually do that last one unless you want to explain yourself to a judge, so grab a snack, sit back and get ready, because this is the kind of story that proves coins aren't just for laundry, they're for legends. Let's kick things off with a little backstory on our star of the show, the 1991 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Now normally when you look at a penny from that year you'll either see a little D for Denver or S for San Francisco, but if yours has no mint mark at all, you might just be holding a coin that could retire you early, buy you a yacht, or at least get you a really nice coffee maker. So how does a regular looking penny end up worth more than most people's cars? Short answer, rarity. Long answer, still rarity, but with a twist. See, in 1991 pennies were mostly minted in Philadelphia, and coins from that mint usually didn't have a mint mark that was standard. But what makes the valuable version of this penny special is that it has a specific combo of features: mistruck dies, subtle design quirks, and top-tier condition. We're talking about near-perfect grades like MS-67 or MS-68. That's mint state, baby. It's like a penny that went to the gym and never skipped leg day. Now here's the kicker, only a tiny number of these pristine no-mint mark 1991 pennies have ever been found in circulation. Some collectors believe fewer than 10 of them are in existence. With that exact level of perfection and detail, it's like finding a unicorn at a garage sale wearing sunglasses. And get this, one of those pennies sold recently at auction for a cool $1.5 million. That's enough to buy a house, a car, a lifetime supply of tacos, and still have enough left over to flex on your friends like, yeah, this little copper guy paid for all of this. Now let me tell you a quick story. This actually happened to me. I was at a flea market last summer, you know, the kind where you can buy everything from antique toasters to questionable hot dogs. I stopped at this old man's booth who had a bowl of coins labeled old junk, 10 cents each. I love that kind of stuff, so I dug through and found a shiny 1991 penny, no mint mark, looked brand new. I asked the guy about it and he just waved his hand and said, "Kid, you buy that penny and I'll throw in a free mystery keychain." I took the deal. Obviously mystery keychains are my weakness. Turns out that penny wasn't the $1 million one. I had it checked, but man, for 10 cents I was sweating bullets all the way home. That experience taught me two things: 1, always check your change, and 2, always say yes to mystery keychains. You never know what kind of lucky charm you're getting. So if you're wondering how to know if your 1991 penny is the magic one, here's what to do. First, look for that no mint mark. That means it came from Philadelphia, and that's step 1. Next, check the condition. If it looks like it just left the mint yesterday, you might be in luck. Look for sharp details. Lincoln's face should be crisp, no scratches, no dullness. It should practically sparkle in the sunlight like a vampire in a teen romance movie. If you think you've got something special, take it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Don't trust your cousin Jerry who says he knows coins just because he collects bottle caps, and if it turns out to be one of the ultra rare gems, well, congrats, you're about to become the main character in every dinner conversation from now on. You can thank Abe Lincoln later, maybe build him a little statue in your backyard. So what did we learn today, friends? Well, first of all, check your change. You never know when you might be holding a six-figure treasure in your palm. Second, even a humble penny can have a wild and fascinating story. Sometimes it's not about what something looks like, but where it came from, how rare it is, and how well it's been taken care of. Kind of like your favorite childhood toy or that one weird shirt you can't get rid of because it brings you good luck. And finally, this whole journey just goes to show that coin collecting isn't just for history buffs or your uncle with too many magnifying glasses. It's for everyone. Anyone can get lucky, anyone can strike gold, or in this case copper. If you enjoyed this story, if you learned something new, or if you're already halfway through digging through your old change jar, hit that subscribe button, because this channel is all about coins that can change your life. Literally, we've got tips, tricks, hidden gem coins, market value breakdowns, and maybe even the occasional dad joke all packed into every video, so don't miss out on the next treasure. Hey coin lovers, treasure hunters, and people who just happened to drop their phone and are now stuck watching this video, welcome to the rabbit hole of money you didn't know you had. Today, we're diving deep into the world of a coin that could be lying quietly in your junk drawer or jingling around in your car's cup holder. It's not gold, it's not ancient, and no, it doesn't have a treasure map on the back. We're talking about a 2006 mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and guess what? This little guy could be worth $1.6 million. Yep, I said it. 1.6 million for a penny. A single cent. That's like finding out the gum under your desk is actually a rare fossil. So buckle up, grab that old jar of coins, and let's find out if you're secretly rich and just didn't know it. Alright, let's take a stroll back to 2006. The year Pluto was cruelly demoted from planet status, flip phones were still cool, and pennies were still being overlooked like that one cousin nobody talks to at family dinners. In Denver, the US Mint pumped out millions of Lincoln pennies. Most of them were perfectly normal. Same old copper-plated zinc, same old honest Abe staring off like he's lost in deep thought, probably wondering why he's stuck on a coin nobody likes. But out of those millions, a few special ones slipped through. We're talking about a rare variety of the 2006 mint Mark penny that has been appraised at up to $1.6 million. That's right, one of these little guys is officially baller status now. And you're probably wondering, why the heck is a penny from 2006 worth more than a Ferrari? You see, this particular coin has some super rare features. Some versions were struck on the wrong planchet. Some have insane die errors, like doubling on Lincoln's face or the letters looking like they were printed during an earthquake. Others have off-center strikes that make Abe look like he's trying to sneak off the coin and call for help. But what makes this one crazy valuable is the combination of a rare die error, a near-perfect mint state, we're talking MS69 or better, and the fact that almost nobody knew to look for it. Most of these rare pennies were pulled from circulation before anyone even noticed. That's what makes them unicorn-level rare now. Only a couple are known to exist in top condition, which means collectors are basically throwing briefcases of cash to get their hands on one. And if you're sitting there thinking, how do I know if I have one? First, take a deep breath. Then, go grab your 2006 pennies. Flip them, inspect them, hold them under a bright light. Look for unusual shine, doubling on the words liberty or in God we trust, anything off-center, or any weirdness in general. Because weird is good in coin collecting. Now, let me tell you a little story. So, a couple of years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her garage. You know how it goes, boxes full of holiday decorations, some ancient Tupperware, and this old, dusty coffee can labeled do not touch. Naturally, I touched it. A bunch of pennies. I almost tossed it out, but curiosity got the better of me. Fast forward a couple of days, I'm sorting through them, just for fun, and boom. I find a 2006 penny that looked a little funny. Abe looked like he'd had one too many espressos. It turned out to be a minor error coin worth a few $100. Free money for looking at pennies? Count me in. And that's why I always say, check your change before you chuck it. Now, if you want to increase your chances of striking penny gold, here's what you do: get a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Seriously. Your eyes are not that good. Sorry, look up what mint marks and years are hot right now. Some pennies from the 80s or even the 2000s are skyrocketing in value. Join coin forums or local coin groups. You'd be surprised how much info you'll pick up, and who knows, you might find someone who actually enjoys talking about pennies as much as you do. Consider getting your coins graded. If you find something weird or rare, don't clean it, don't tape it to the fridge, just send it off to get graded by PCGS or NGC. That's how you prove your penny is the real deal. That little 2006 penny you tossed on your dresser might just be your ticket to the good life. 1 cent could be worth over $1 million, and it's probably been hiding in plain sight this whole time. Don't sleep on your spare change. Don't underestimate the power of a penny. And for the love of coins, next time someone gives you change, take it. Don't just leave it in that take a penny, leave a penny tray. You might be leaving behind your future mansion fund. If you had fun hanging out, learn something new, or if you're now frantically digging through your couch cushions, do me a solid, hit that subscribe button. Smash that like. Drop a comment if you've ever found anything weird in your change. And don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss another episode of me screaming excitedly about coins you thought were worthless. Every penny counts. Especially the ones worth more than your car. Hey folks, have you ever dropped a penny and not bothered to pick it up? Well, what if I told you that one little brown coin you ignored could have made you a millionaire? Yep, I'm talking about a 1976 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. I know, you're probably thinking, it's just a penny, how special could it be? But trust me, you'll want to stay tuned, because this isn't just a penny, it's a golden ticket hiding in plain sight. Today, we're diving deep into what makes this tiny copper coin so valuable, how you can spot one in your change jar, and of course, I'll share a hilarious story about the time I accidentally spent one. Spoiler alert, I'm still not over it. So buckle up, coin hunters, because we're about to turn your piggy bank into a potential treasure chest. Let's talk about the coin itself. The 1976 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Sounds boring at first, right? I mean, we've all seen those brown coins with Abe Lincoln's serious face just chillin' in our pockets. But 1976 was a special year. America was turning 200 years old, people were rocking bell-bottoms, disco was a thing, and somehow, one little penny was made that now has collectors losing their minds. And now usually, coins made in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark. That's normal. So what makes this one so rare? It all comes down to the mix-up with its metal composition and a very, very small batch that came out with some bizarre features. Most 1976 pennies were made of copper, but some of these no-mint mark beauties were struck on bronze planchets with odd weight and luster. And let me tell you, coin collectors are obsessed with weird stuff like that. Now here's the kicker. A pristine, red-toned, uncirculated 1976 Lincoln penny with no mint mark once sold at auction for $1.7 million. Yup. Somebody actually paid that much. For a penny. That's like buying a Lamborghini and leaving a penny on the dash just to flex. So why is this thing so valuable? Glad you asked. It all comes down to condition, rarity, and demand. You see, a lot of coins from the 70s were used and abused. Tossed in vending machines, dropped on sidewalks, forgotten in couch cushions, kind of like how I treat my gym membership. But the few that were perfectly preserved? Those are the stars of the coin world. Now let me tell you about the time I might have had one of these valuable pennies and didn't even know it. Picture this, I was at a gas station, buying a bottle of water and a pack of gum. My total was like $1.78. I handed over a couple of bills and pulled out 3 pennies from my pocket, one of which was a shiny 1976 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny I'd kept for years because it looked cool. The cashier took it, gave me a nod, and I walked out like a champ. Flash forward a week later, I'm watching a coin video just like this one, and the guy goes, if you had a 1976 no-mint Mark penny in pristine condition, it could be worth over $1 million. I swear, my soul left my body. I raced back to the gas station like I was in an action movie. Barged in, asked the guy if he remembered me. He looked at me like I was crazy. I asked if he still had the penny. He said no. Probably gave it as change to the next customer who's now living their best life on a yacht in the Bahamas. Moral of the story? Don't ignore your change. It might be worth more than your rent. Now if you're wondering how to check if you have the $1 million version, here's what you need to do. First, grab a magnifying glass or your phone camera if you're fancy. Look at the year 1976. Check for no mint mark, meaning there's no little letter under the year. Then check the color. Red pennies in uncirculated condition are the most desirable. If yours has a shiny, reddish copper glow and barely any scratches or wear, you might just be holding a winner. Oh, and weigh it. The standard should be around 3.11 grams. If it's off, that might be another clue you've got something special. Also, consider getting it graded. That's like sending your penny to a fancy spa where experts give it a rating from 1 to 70. If your penny scores in the high 60s, you're in business. And by business, I mean yacht shopping mode. Alright coin fam, let's wrap this up. That humble 1976 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny? It might be sitting in your junk drawer, your car's cup holder, or that jar labeled Vegas Fund. And it could be worth $1.7 million. So don't overlook those little guys. They're like the underdogs of the coin world, quietly holding onto a fortune. And hey, if this video opened your eyes to the treasure hiding in plain sight, do me a solid, hit that subscribe button. We're diving into all the coins that could turn your spare change into a six-figure payday. Want more tips on coins worth money? Want strategies for what to keep and what to spend? This channel's got your back. Also, drop a comment and let me know if you've ever found a weird coin or if you're now eyeing every penny like it's a potential lottery ticket. I want to hear your stories too. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, keep checking your change and remember, one man's penny is another man's ticket to $1,000,000. Hey, what's up coin lovers, treasure hunters, and random YouTube clickers who are probably holding a penny right now and wondering if it could make you a millionaire? Today, we're talking about a coin that looks ordinary but is secretly living a double life as a multi-millionaire in disguise. Yeah, you heard me right. That boring-looking 2018 mint Mark Lincoln penny, yeah, the one probably chilling in your couch cushions, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. That's not a typo. That's $1.8 million for 1 cent. Now before you go flipping your furniture and raiding your car's cup holders, sit tight. Because in this video, we're gonna break down exactly why this little copper coin is making big waves in the coin collecting world, what makes it worth so much, how to spot one, and yes, I'll even tell you a story about how I almost spent a rare coin on a vending machine snack. True story. Let's dive in. Avengers were fighting Thanos, people were doing weird dances on TikTok, and the US Mint was casually striking pennies like it always does. Only this time, something happened. Out of the Denver Mint came a batch of Lincoln pennies with a very, very specific error, or should I say a blessing in disguise. Some 2018 Lincoln cents came out with what collectors call a die clash, double die, and in some cases, off-center strikes. Now if you're not deep into coin lingo, don't worry, I got you. A die clash is when the coin dies, basically the stampers that press the design, strike each other without a coin in between. That creates ghost-like images or doubling on the coins they stamp afterward. It's like the coin equivalent of a printing glitch in a rare Pokemon card. Nerdy? Yes. Valuable? Also yes, but here's the juicy part. One of these error coins, a 2018 Lincoln penny, was discovered in near-perfect condition. I'm talking MS68 red, that's mint state for holy cow, this thing is clean. It got graded, authenticated, and put up for auction. And when the bidding dust settled, this bad boy sold for $1.8 million. That's more than most Lamborghinis. For a penny now, not all 2018 pennies are going to make you rich. If that were true, I'd be filming this video from a yacht. But there are some things you can look for. Next, look closely at Lincoln's face, the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." Use a magnifying glass or the zoom camera on your phone. You're looking for doubling, weird shadows, or anything that looks slightly off. That's the backside. For anything misaligned, missing details, or ghost-like images, coins in pristine, uncirculated condition are the ones that go big. If your coin looks like it survived 5 natural disasters and 3 vending machine fights, it might not hit the million mark, but hey, it could still be worth a decent chunk. Now let me tell you a quick story. I once had a 1995 double die penny in my collection. I knew it was special, had it tucked in my desk drawer. One day, I'm starving. I go to the vending machine, realize I only have 74 cents. I'm digging through my drawer and guess what's sitting right there? My rare penny. And do you know what I did? That moment still haunts me. Gummy worms? Worth maybe $1. That penny? Probably a few $1,000s if graded right. So learn from me, people. Check your coins before you spend them. Alright, now back to the 2018 D. If you think you have one, the first step is don't get too excited, yet. Take a deep breath, and do a few things. If it looks promising, submit it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC, and don't, I repeat don't, take it to your local gas station and use it to buy a Monster energy drink. That's how you lose $1.8 million and a little bit of your soul, so there you have it. A little 2018 Lincoln penny might just be your ticket to the Millionaire Club. All you gotta do is look a little closer. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and you never know, the next $1 million coin could be hiding in plain sight, just chilling in your pocket change. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, go ahead and smash that like button like it owes you money. And if you want more tips, stories, and secrets about coins that are worth big bucks, plus how not to lose them to your sweet tooth like I did, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, your future millionaire self will thank you. Hey there treasure hunters, coin collectors and accidental millionaires in the making, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into potential fortune and share a laugh or two along the way. So here's the deal, imagine this, you're digging through your junk drawer looking for a AAA battery you swear you bought last week, and instead you find an old dirty penny from 1968, nothing shiny, nothing flashy, just good old Abraham Lincoln, staring off into the distance like he's contemplating his next Gettysburg Address. Well, hold on to your coin jars because that boring looking penny might just be worth a mind-blowing $1.1 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $1.1 million for a penny, no mint mark, nothing fancy, just hiding in plain sight. Before you go flipping your couch cushions, let's talk about what makes this little brown coin such a big deal. Alright, let's start with the basics. This coin is the 1968 mint mark Lincoln penny, and at first glance it looks just like any other coin that's lived at the bottom of a jeans pocket since disco was cool. Now here's what makes it special. The no mint mark part means it was minted in Philadelphia, which normally doesn't use a mint mark anyway, so that's not the rare part. But what makes this particular penny insanely valuable is a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and a little sprinkle of minting magic. Some of these 1968 no mint mark pennies were struck on a rare bronze alloy planchet leftover from earlier minting processes. Others have incredibly sharp details, flawless surfaces, and were preserved in pristine condition since the day they were minted. Someone out there just knew they had something special, or maybe they just forgot it in a drawer for 50 years. Either way, it worked out. One such coin recently made headlines when it sold at auction for $1.1 million. That's right, someone got rich off a coin that probably bought Bazooka Joe bubblegum back in the day. Now I know what you're thinking, come on, how do I know if my penny is worth anything? Well, here's what you should look for next. Look at the condition. If it looks like it's been through 5 washing machines and a garbage disposal, probably not your $1 million ticket. But if it's in mint state, meaning shiny, no scratches, clear details, you might be onto something. Also keep an eye out for any doubling of letters or numbers on the front or back. That's what coin nerds call a double die, and collectors go nuts for that stuff. Seriously, we're talking full on Gollum from Lord of the Rings energy, and if you really want to be sure, take it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll slap it in a fancy holder and tell you if you're sitting on a small fortune or just a really clean penny. A few years ago I was helping my grandpa clean out his garage and he had this coffee can full of change. No lie, it was probably the weight of a small child. I'm talking serious coin hoarder levels. We're sorting through it and I find this shiny little 1968 penny. I almost tossed it back, but something about it felt weird, like fate, or maybe just the 10 cups of coffee I'd hottie held onto it. Got it checked out and boom, turns out it was worth over $500, not a million. But still, I turned a penny into a weekend getaway and an embarrassing number of tacos. So yeah, keep your eyes open folks. Also fun fact, there are only a handful of these high-value 1968 pennies known to exist, so if you've got one, you're part of a very exclusive club like the VIP section of coin collecting, minus the bottle service and velvet ropes. So what have we learned today, folks? Your spare change might just be your spare fortune. Don't judge a coin by its crusty old surface, and always check those pennies before tossing them into a tip jar, because that 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny could be your golden ticket. And hey, if you're into this kind of thing, we've got tons more videos coming up about coins that are secretly worth big bucks, strategies for building a valuable collection, and maybe even a few more stories about how I almost lost a $1,000 dime on a vending machine. So if you had fun today, learned something new, or just want to join the coolest coin crew on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and ring that little bell so you don't miss the next treasure hiding in your pocket. Hey, welcome back to the channel where pocket change might just change your life. Now imagine this, you're standing in line at the gas station, you've got $2 in your hand and a few pennies in your pocket, you're eyeing a Snickers bar real hard. Suddenly you remember, wait a minute, didn't I hear that some pennies are worth thousands? Nah, couldn't be. Then you get home, empty your pockets, and bam, there it is, a 2006 penny with a little D under the date. The one that looks like every other penny except this one might just be worth $1,200,000. Yep, you heard me right, $1.2 million. That's more than some people make in a lifetime. That's enough to buy a house, a few cars, and still have money left over for snacks. So grab your coin jars, your junk drawers, even that crusty cup holder in your car, because today we're diving into the wild and totally unexpected story of the 2006 mint mark Lincoln penny that could make you a millionaire. Get comfy because this is gonna be good. Alright, so let's set the stage. The 2006 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark. Its copper-plated zinc weighs about 25 grams, and it's got our good old buddy Abraham Lincoln facing right, looking all serious like he just saw someone spend a valuable penny on gum. Now on paper this is a totally ordinary coin. Millions were made, nothing rare about the year or the design. Right, wrong, most 2060 pennies are worth 1 cent, but every now and then a special one pops up. It's Got something funky going on, maybe a mint error, maybe a unique die variety, maybe just fate smiling down on your spare change, but one of these bad boys has been valued at 12 million shiny reasons to check your couch cushions. So here's the juicy part: why would anyone drop over $1 million on a penny? Well, it turns out the rarest 2006'D Lincoln penny has some mind-blowing mint errors. We're talking double dies, off-center strikes, clash dies, die breaks, the kind of stuff that coin collectors lose their absolute minds over. Picture this: a coin that was supposed to be just another copy of the same OL Lincoln penny, but something went wrong, the die shifted or got cracked, and suddenly it created a unique little treasure. And in the world of coin collecting, unique means cash. There's also speculation that one of these coins was struck on the wrong planchet. That's like minting a penny on a dime blank. Yeah, that'll raise some eyebrows and maybe the price tag too. So I was at my grandma's house helping her clean out the kitchen drawers, you know, where every household keeps expired coupons, 2 dead AA batteries, and about 37 random pennies. I wasn't thinking much of it, but I tossed all the coins into a Ziploc bag, planning to take them to one of those coin machines later that night. I was bored flipping through coins like some kind of low-budget treasure hunter, and bam, I saw a 2006'D penny. Nothing weird at first glance, but it had this slight doubling on the date. I squinted, I googled, I panicked. Could it be? I thought, is this the one? I even called a buddy who's deep into coin collecting and made him look at it through Zoom like full-on CSI mode. Turns out it wasn't the $1 million one, but it was worth a solid $15. Not bad for drawer junk, but man, you should have seen my face when I thought I hit the jackpot. I was already planning I found a penny and bought a Tesla video in my head. Alright, so here's what you need to know when hunting down this golden goose of copper: signs of doubling on the date or letters, especially Liberty and In God We Trust, die cracks around Lincoln's head or the rim, weird off-center strikes like Lincoln's having a bad hair dye. Any signs that the coin was struck on the wrong type of metal planchet. And most importantly, if it looks funky, don't spend it, put it in a little plastic sleeve or at least a sandwich bag. I mean, come on, treat your potential $1 million coin with a little respect if you're getting into this coin game, and I gotta say it's one of the coolest hobbies that can literally pay off big time. Here are some tips. 1. Get a good magnifying glass. Seriously, your eyes are great, but Lincoln is tiny and those mint errors are sneakier than your neighbor's cat. 2. Learn the lingo. Know your double dies from your repunched mint marks and your zinc rot from your copper core. 3. Connect with collectors, whether it's a local club or online forums. There's a whole world of people who live for this stuff. They'll teach you things Google can't. 4. Use coin apps or websites to track what your finds might be worth. Some rare pennies are selling like crazy at auctions and marketplaces. 5. Never clean your coins ever. A shiny coin is great, but if you scrub it with a Brillo pad, you just murdered its value. So here's the deal: one little penny from 2006 could be worth over $1 million. That's the magic of coin collecting. You never know what kind of history or hidden value is sitting right under your nose or in your pants pocket. You don't need to be rich to start, you don't need to be an expert, you just need some curiosity, a sharp eye, and maybe a tiny obsession with Lincoln's face. And hey, even if you don't find the $1 million one, it's a great excuse to clean out your junk drawer and feel like Indiana Jones while you're at it. Now, before you go, if you enjoyed this video and you want more tips about coins worth real money, how to spot valuable errors, and strategies to turn your spare change into serious cash, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications so you don't miss the next episode, because who knows, the next coin we talk about might just be sitting in your piggy bank waiting to make you rich. Alright folks, picture this: you're digging through your old jeans from high school, maybe you're checking the pockets before tossing them into the wash, and bam, you find a penny, not a quarter, not a dollar bill, nope, just a lonely little copper coin chilling in the corner of your pocket, looking like it's been through a couple world wars and a family reunion. Now, before you toss it into the nearest couch cushion or drop it into that random jar of coins you never actually plan to cash and wait, because what if I told you that penny, yeah, the 2003 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny you're about to forget about, could be worth $1.3 million? Yep, $1.3 million with an M. That's enough to buy a Lumbo, a house with 12 bathrooms you'll never use, and still have money left over to buy actual pants that fit. So sit back, grab your favorite snack, and let's talk about one of the sneakiest, most valuable little coins hiding in plain sight, and how you just might have one sitting in your sock drawer. So the 2003 Lincoln penny without a mint mark doesn't sound like a big deal, right? I mean, you've probably seen hundreds of them floating around. It looks just like any regular old penny. Honest Abe on the front, memorial building on the back, nothing fancy, right? Because in the wild world of coin collecting, the devil is in the details, and let me tell you, this little penny is hiding more secrets than your high school diary. First off, the missing mint mark. That's huge. Usually you'll see a D for Denver or a P for Philly, but in rare cases you get a no mint mark penny, and that's when the magic starts. In 2003, a tiny batch of pennies slipped through the cracks at the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark at all. This wasn't supposed to happen. It's kind of like if someone forgot to add cheese to a cheeseburger. It's still a burger, but now it's collectible and probably worth more on eBay. Now, only a handful of these no mint mark 2003 pennies are known to exist. We're talking less than the Number of friends you actually text back in a week, that's what makes it rare, that's what makes it valuable, and that's how one of these babies ended up being auctioned for a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Now imagine being the person who found that penny. Maybe it was just sitting in the ashtray of their 2003 Honda Civic collecting dust and lost dreams, but one day they decided to actually look at it closely and boom, early retirement. A couple years back I was helping my grandma clean out her attic. Because apparently she thinks I'm stronger than I actually am, and guess what I found? Of course, being the total nerd I am, I sat down with a flashlight, a magnifying glass, and a cup of tea and started looking through it like I was Indiana Jones searching for ancient treasure. I didn't find the 2003 no mint mark penny, but I did find a 1964'D penny with a weird error on the reverse side, which I ended up selling for $80. Not a million, but still, free money from grandma's attic for 20 minutes of work, and I got out of cleaning the rest of the attic. That's what I call a win. So here's the lesson, folks: you never know what you're holding until you actually check. Alright, so how do you spot a 2003 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could be worth mega bucks? First, look for that missing mint mark. It should be below the year. If there's no letter there, it could be the one. Then check the condition. The shinier and cleaner the penny, the more valuable it is. We're talking mint condition, folks, not that crusty one stuck in your car cup holder with old gum stuck to it. Next, get it verified. Don't go running to Craigslist or trying to sell it to your neighbor Todd, who thinks he's a coin expert because he watched 2 episodes of Pawn Stars. Send it to a real coin grading company like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm if it's legit and give it a grade. The higher the grade, the higher the price tag. And yes, one of those was graded a near perfect MS69 and sold at auction for $1.3 million. Talk about glow up, right? The next time you come across a penny from 2003, don't just chuck it into a jar or flip it for luck. Take a good hard look, because that plain little coin with no mint mark could be your golden ticket to a millionaire lifestyle. And hey, even if it's not worth $1 million, you'll still learn a little bit about coin collecting and maybe impress your friends with your new hobby, because nothing says cool like pulling out a magnifying glass and yelling, "This could be worth millions." Seriously though, coins like these are hiding all around us, in pockets, in drawers, in grandma's attic, and even between your car seats. So don't miss your chance to cash in on something most people overlook every single day. And if you liked this video, if you laughed, learned something, or even just didn't fall asleep, I've got one little favor to ask: join the fam, where we talk coins, cash, and collecting tips that could actually make you money. We've got more $1 million pennies, nickels, that are worth more than your rent, and strategies to help you spot them. Also, turn on notifications, grab your change jar, and I'll see you in the next video, where we'll uncover more hidden treasures that just might be hiding in plain sight. Hey there, coin hunters, treasure seekers, and folks who have a drawer full of change they haven't looked at since 2003. Let me ask you something. Have you ever picked up a penny off the ground and thought, hey cool, 1 cent richer? Well, what if I told you that one random looking penny you might have tossed in a tip jar could actually be worth $1.4 million? Yeah, you heard that right. We're diving into the wild world of the 1994 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. That little coppery coin might just be your golden ticket. So grab your magnifying glass, your jar of coins, and your sense of humor, cause today we're talking about a penny so valuable it could pay off your student loans, buy you a house, and still leave you with enough for a lifetime supply of tacos. Alright, let's start with the basics. When a coin doesn't have a mint mark, it usually means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. Nothing strange there, right? But every now and then, something slips through the cracks, and that's where the magic happens. In 1994, most Lincoln pennies were made like usual, but a small mysterious batch of no mint mark pennies turned out to be totally not so usual. Think of them as the introverts of the coin world, quiet, humble, but secretly legendary. Now you might be thinking, okay, it's just missing a tiny letter, what's the big deal? Well, my friend, coin collecting is a game of rarity, condition, and just a sprinkle of mystery. These no mint mark 1994 Lincoln pennies weren't supposed to exist, or at least not the valuable ones. The rare batch we're talking about has pristine surfaces, super sharp details, and in many cases an error or two, like a double die or off-center strike. That combo right there, rarity plus condition plus error equals jackpot. A verified 1994 no mint mark penny in near perfect condition once fetched a whopping $1.4 million at auction. I know you're thinking, you mean to tell me I could be sitting on $1 million and not even know it? A few years ago, I was cleaning out the backseat of my car, you know, that scary spot where old French fries and mystery receipts go to die. I was vacuuming and I spotted a penny wedged between the seatbelt and the cup holder. I almost threw it out, but then something made me stop. I picked it up, noticed it didn't have a mint mark, and said, how weird. Turns out it wasn't the $1 million one, but it got me curious. That tiny moment launched me into coin collecting. I've been elbow deep in coin jars ever since, and let me tell you, I found coins worth $5, $50, even $200. Not bad for something I could have left for the vacuum to eat. Here's what you want to keep an eye on: a mint mark under the date, sharp detailed strike, no signs of wear, possible doubling on Lincoln's face or lettering, and if it's in near perfect uncirculated condition, that's where the real value kicks in. Oh, and pro tip: use a jeweler's loupe or at least your phone camera on zoom mode. You don't want to miss that one little error. That could be worth a boatload. You'll want to get it authenticated by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly what condition it's in, and if you've hit the jackpot, then you can either hold on to it like a financial Pokemon card or auction it off to collectors who would give up their last jellybean just to own it. Some have been sold at heritage auctions or through private dealers with deep pockets. And big love for shiny things. Coin collecting might sound boring to some people, but honestly it's like treasure hunting without having to fight pirates or dig holes in the backyard. Here's a little strategy. Start with your change jar, your grandparents' old coin box, or hit up some yard sales. You'd be amazed what people throw into the 50-cent bin. Also, if anyone gives you a weird look when you're hunched over a magnifying glass examining pennies, just look up and say, "I'm not crazy, I'm just potentially rich." Don't clean your coins ever. A shiny coin might look pretty, but if you scrub it down, you might accidentally remove thousands of dollars in value. Also, don't assume every no mint mark coin is rare or valuable. Check condition first, then look for errors, then maybe start dreaming of yachts. And please don't fall for sketchy online listings. If someone's selling a 1994 penny for $5,000 on eBay without any proof or grading, just slowly back away and clutch your wallet. We've learned today that even something as small and simple as a penny could be worth more than a Lamborghini. You just need the right one and a good ISO. Go check your pockets, your piggy banks, your car floor mats, and maybe even under the couch cushions. Who knows, you might be sitting on your retirement fund in copper form. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. It tells the algorithm that coin nerds like us are here and proud. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon because I've got way more coin tips coming up. We're talking nickels, dimes, quarters, even some wild dollar bills worth big money. Drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're about to tear your house apart looking for that 1994 penny. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel where spare change might just spare you from ever working again. Now imagine this: you're digging in the couch cushions looking for that missing TV remote. You pull out a gum wrapper, 2/4 a mystery crumb, and then you see it, a plain old 1964'D Lincoln penny. But hold on, before you toss it back into the coin jar or flip it at your sibling for fun, let me stop you right there, because if it's the right 1964'D penny, you could be holding onto a coin worth a jaw dropping $1.5 million. That's right, $1.5 million for a little copper disc that weighs less than a paperclip. No, this isn't clickbait, this isn't a prank, and nope, I'm not filming this from a van selling dream catchers out back of a gas station. This is the real deal. Today we're diving deep into the 1964'D Lincoln penny, why it's worth so much, what makes it so valuable, how you can spot one, and why your grandpa's old coin jar might be more valuable than his vintage VHS tape collection. So grab a snack, maybe even your coin jar, and let's go treasure hunting. Let's rewind to 1964. A gallon of gas was about 30 cents. The Beatles were invading America and Lincoln pennies were being minted by the truckload. In fact, over 3 billion, yes, billion with a B, of these 1964'D pennies were produced. So why the heck is one of them now worth $1,500,000? First of all, the D stands for the Denver Mint, where this particular penny was struck. The coin features Abraham Lincoln on the front, facing right, with his signature stern yet fatherly expression on the back. You've got the Lincoln Memorial. If you're looking at a post-1959 version of the penny made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, this penny is just like billions of its siblings. But here's the twist: not all 1964'D pennies are created equal. Some have extremely rare minting errors or unique characteristics that make collectors go bananas. So what sets the $1 million penny apart from the rest? First off, it's usually some kind of rare error coin or a super clean high-grade version. A few of the big-ticket things to look for include a double die obverse, which means parts of the lettering on the front of the coin might look blurry or doubled up, like the words Liberty or In God We Trust, or wearing 3D glasses. A repunched mint mark where the D looks like someone changed their mind halfway through stamping it, or a full red uncirculated condition that means the coin has never been used in circulation and has that rich, bright, coppery luster. You combine those traits in a single penny and baby, you've got a stew going. I mean, $1 million stew in one. Famous case, a 1964'D Lincoln penny graded MS68RD that's mint state 68 red, sold at auction for over $1.5 million because it was practically flawless and rarer than a polite honk in New York City. Now, before you go flipping over every penny you've ever touched, here's what to look for. Step 1, grab a magnifying glass or at least the zoom on your phone camera. Step 2, check the front of the coin. Is Lincoln looking sharp? Are the words Liberty and the date crisp, or does it look like they've been printed twice? That could be a double die. Step 3, look at that little D under the date. Is it clean, or does it look like someone typed it with a shaky hand? That might be a repunched mint mark. And step 4, if the coin still has that original reddish shine and it hasn't been through your laundry 10 times, you might have a winner. Oh, and pro tip: don't clean the coin, don't polish it, don't dip it in ketchup or lemon juice or throw it in your dishwasher. That will absolutely kill its value faster than a spoiler kills a movie. So about a year ago, I was visiting my uncle, who keeps all his spare change in a giant glass water jug, you know, the kind that weighs more than a toddler when it's full. So I'm sitting there bored while he's watching reruns of 70s game shows, and I start going through his coins just to pass the time. I find a bunch of pennies from the 60s, and I remember reading online about valuable ones, so I set a few aside. Later I post a picture of one of them in a coin collecting forum and a guy messages me saying, dude, you might want to get that graded. Turns out it was a 1964D penny in really good shape, not a $1 million one sadly, but worth around $200 just from a coin jar. Imagine if it had been one of the super rare ones. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin that gets a grade over 65 is considered nearly perfect. That's the kind of condition that makes collectors whip out their wallets faster than a kid running for the ice cream truck. The top grading companies are PCGS and NGC, and if you really think you've got a rare coin, it's worth paying to get it professionally graded. It can turn your dusty penny into a verified piece of numismatic gold. By the way, while you're digging around, keep an eye out for other valuable pennies too. The 1943 copper penny worth over $1 million, the 1982 small date bronze penny, the 1992 close AM Lincoln penny. The world of valuable coins is deeper than your aunt's collection of antique thimbles. Alright, coin hunters, we've gone from history to mint marks to grading to personal stories, and now you know the truth. A plain old 1964D Lincoln penny can be worth more than most people's cars, their houses, or even their mother-in-law's vintage wine collection. So the next time you get change at the store or you find a penny on the sidewalk, don't just walk by, check it, take a second look at the date, look for that D mint mark. You never know, you could be holding onto something life-changing. And hey, if you liked this video and you want to learn more about coins that are secretly worth a fortune, hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. Tap the bell so you don't miss out on future videos where I'll show you how your loose change could fund your dream vacation or at least a pretty great pizza night. Got a lucky penny story? Let me know in the comments. I read them all unless I'm too busy hunting through laundry for old coins. Hey coin fam, welcome back to the channel where your spare change could literally make you rich. If you're new here, go ahead and smash that subscribe button like it owes you money, because today we are diving into a story about a penny. Yes, you heard that right, a penny worth $1.6 million. No gold, no diamonds, just good ol' Abraham Lincoln looking up at you from a copper coin. Now before you go flipping your couch cushions and raiding piggy banks at your grandma's house, hang tight, because this story has everything: value, rarity, history, and just maybe a sprinkle of luck. I mean, who wouldn't want to find $1 million penny, right? That's better than finding fries at the bottom of the bag. So let's talk about the 1979D mint mark Lincoln penny. That's right, that little D under the date might just stand for dang, that's a lot of money. Alright, let's set the stage. 1979 disco was on its way out. Star Wars was taking over theaters, and in Denver the US Mint was churning out Lincoln pennies like there was no tomorrow. Most of them went on to live boring lives in vending machines and pockets and parking meters, but a few, and I mean a very few, turned out to be crazy valuable. Now you might be wondering what makes this tiny copper dude worth a whole house in Los Angeles. Well, my friend, the value of this coin comes down to a rare error. That's right, not all 1979D pennies are valuable. We're talking about the unicorn of pennies. Here, a very specific error that collectors go nuts over. See some of these pennies were struck with what's called a double die error, which basically means the coin was stamped twice but slightly off, giving it this wild ghostly effect on the date and lettering. If your penny has this feature and it's in pristine condition, you might be sitting on $1 million payday. Now let me tell you a little story. I once found a 1979D penny and I got real excited, like genuinely heart thumping, doing the happy dance in my living room. Excited, I thought I'd hit the jackpot. I busted out my magnifying glass like a detective on a crime show, squinting at the date, comparing it to online photos. I even called my cousin, who's basically a coin nerd with a PhD in numismatics from the University of YouTube. Turns out it was just a regular penny, but hey, for a moment I truly believed I could retire early and move to Hawaii. That's the magic of coin collecting, though. Every penny has potential, and the 1979D penny with that rare double die in flawless condition, well, that's the coin dreams are made of. One such coin sold recently for a whopping $1.6 million. You could buy a fleet of used cars with that. You could buy a lifetime supply of coffee or like 2 months of rent in New York City. Now if you're thinking, man, I've had tons of those pennies over the years, you're not alone. Millions of these were made, but again, it's the error plus condition that sets the valuable ones apart. Look for sharp doubling on the date and lettering. Check for smooth uncirculated surfaces and no scratches or dings, and maybe, just maybe, take that trip to the coin dealer. It could change your life. So what have we learned today, folks? Never underestimate the power of pocket change. That humble 1979D Lincoln penny in your junk drawer might be your golden ticket, or well, copper ticket. I guess either way it's worth taking a closer look. And if you've got coins sitting around, don't just toss them without checking. There's a whole world of value hiding in plain sight, and I'm here to help you uncover it. If you enjoyed this video and you want more juicy coin stories, life-changing penny finds, and tips on turning change into cha-ching, then hit that subscribe button and ring the bell like it's the lunch bell in high school. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. And hey, if you've ever found a cool coin or had a near miss like me, drop your story in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. You never know who you might inspire. Alright, coin crew, that's it for today. Go check your pockets, check your jars, and check your luck. This is your friendly neighborhood coin hunter signing off. Catch you on the next one, where we'll explore another coin that might just make you rich. Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, hey, that could be worth something? Well, maybe it's time you took a second look at those pennies in your pocket or your change jar because you might be sitting on a gold mine, or in this case, a penny mine. Today, we're diving into a coin that's not just a shiny copper piece, but a treasure worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right, million with an M. Let's talk about the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny and how it went from ordinary to extraordinary. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll have your very own coin hunting strategies, and who knows? You might just discover the next big moneymaker in your collection. Let's jump in. Okay, let's break it down. First off, this 1978 penny isn't your average Lincoln cent. In fact, it's a rare gem because it doesn't have a mint mark. Normally, we see the D4 Denver, or S4 San Francisco, but the 1978 no mint mark penny is like the undercover agent of the coin world. And for those of you thinking, wait, what's a mint mark? Don't worry, I'll explain. A mint mark is basically a tiny letter on the coin that tells you where it was made. No mint mark? That means it was made at the main mint in Philadelphia. So, why is this so important? Well, the 1978 penny wasn't supposed to be this rare. In fact, most 1978 pennies look exactly like the ones you find in your pocket change today, just a simple, everyday coin. But this particular batch of 1978 pennies, without the mint mark, is incredibly scarce. Now, let's get to the good stuff, the value. A regular 1978 penny is worth about a penny. Surprise, right? But the no mint mark version? That's where things get interesting. In 2009, one of these bad boys sold for $1.7 million at an auction. That's a pretty sweet return on investment, especially considering how often we just toss pennies in the jar or let them roll around in our cars. But there's more to it than just rarity. What makes the 1978 no mint mark penny so special is its historical anomaly. It's believed that there was a mix-up at the mint that year. Maybe a batch of pennies was pressed without the mint mark, or maybe it was a mistake that no one noticed until much later. Whatever the reason, this particular penny is part of a small group that just didn't get stamped like the rest, and now it's worth millions. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was going through some old coins my grandmother gave me. She was one of those people who saved everything. I mean, her collection was so vast, I thought she had every coin ever made. She even had a piggy bank that probably weighed 20 pounds. Anyway, I came across a penny from 1978 and thought, just another penny, and tossed it into the jar with the others. Little did I know, if I'd had the no mint mark version, I could have been counting my $1 million fortune instead of nickels and dimes. But that's the thing with these rare coins. They're not always obvious. That penny could have been worth a lot, but I didn't know enough to look at the details. Which is why I want to help you all avoid that mistake and know what to look for. So, now that we're all wondering, how do I check if I've got one of these goldmine pennies? Let me help you out with that. First, look closely at the year. If it's 1978 and doesn't have a mint mark, then you've got a contender. The next step? Take a good look at the coin's condition. If it's in mint condition, meaning no scratches, dents, or discoloration, its value increases exponentially. Coins with original luster and no wear are always the most valuable. But let me be real with you, if your penny is looking a little worn out and scratched, it's probably not worth $1 million. But, hey, don't toss it. Even worn coins can have some value, just not that big-time jackpot value. Alright, let's say you found a 1978 no mint mark penny, and it looks like it could be worth some serious cash. What's next? Get it appraised by a professional. You can go to a local coin shop, or, even better, try an online auction platform like Heritage Auctions, where high-value coins often make their way into the spotlight. Trust me, when you're dealing with rare coins, you don't want to guess the value. It's like buying a used car and saying, I think it's worth $10,000, without actually knowing the make or model. Get an expert to look at it and give you the real scoop. Well, there you have it, the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a rare find that could be worth over $1.7 million if you're lucky enough to have one in mint condition. But even if you don't have one in your pocket right now, don't worry. Coin collecting is all about learning, hunting, and knowing what to look for. And who knows? That next penny you find might be worth more than you think. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because I've got plenty more tips on how to spot valuable coins and coin collecting strategies that can help you build your collection and maybe, just maybe, find your own $1,000,000 gem. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and until next time, keep your eyes peeled and your change jar close. You never know when that next rare coin might pop up. Okay, hold up. Before you toss that penny in your pocket or throw it in the jar for your next laundry day, listen up. What if I told you that one little coin, a 1961'D mint Mark Lincoln penny, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.80 million? Yep, you heard that right. Not $18. Not $1.80. But $1.80 million. Now, I know what you're thinking, how in the world can a coin that I might find in my couch cushions be worth more than my car? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. So, grab your magnifying glass. No, seriously, you might need it, because we're about to explore how that humble 1961'D penny could be your ticket to a fortune. Let's kick things off with the basics. So, you're probably familiar with the famous Lincoln penny. It's that iconic copper coin with Honest Abe's face on it. Every year, the US Mint produces millions of these little guys, but, and this is important, sometimes, one of them can stand out and become worth way more than its face value. A lot more. Like, ridiculously more. Now, the 1961'D mint Mark Lincoln penny. Sounds like just another typical coin, right? I mean, it's not like the 1961'D is a rare year compared to some other legendary pennies. But here's where things get interesting. The 1961'D is known for its rarity and condition, especially if it's in mint condition. Here's the trick, it's not just about the year. It's about the mint mark and how pristine that coin is. Mint marks indicate which US mint produced the coin. For the 1961'D, that D stands for the Denver Mint. And trust me, not every 1961'D penny is worth $1.8 million. You've got to find the right one. I mean, if you're going to start looking for your old pennies, I wouldn't recommend going through your grandma's coin jar, unless she's been secretly hoarding rare ones like a treasure chest. But hey, who knows, maybe grandma's been a coin connoisseur all along. Now, let me tell you about something that happened to me once. I was rummaging through my drawer, looking for some loose change to pay for a coffee. I swear, it's like I always have a ton of coins, but never enough of the right ones, right? Anyway, I pulled out a handful of pennies. Most of them were the usual suspects, 2005s, 1999s, the ones that scream I've seen better days. But then, I pulled out a 1961'D. I thought, it's just a regular old penny. But something told me to take a closer look. And you know what? I couldn't help myself. I grabbed my magnifying glass, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, I felt like Sherlock Holmes on a coin case. Turns out, it was in amazing condition. It was so shiny and almost flawless. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm no expert. But I figured it was time to do a little research. And lo and behold, I found out that a coin in such pristine condition can easily fetch up to $1.8 million at auction. I couldn't believe it. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't have a $1 million penny. But I did learn something super important that day. Sometimes, you've got to look at your pocket change like it's a treasure chest waiting to be uncovered. Well, it's all about the combination of rarity and condition. The 1961'D penny is considered rare in mint condition, as in, it's been preserved over decades and barely touched by the elements. We're talking about those pennies that still shine like they just came off the minting press. But wait, here's the kicker. Even though most 1961'D pennies are worth just 1 cent, a few of them have a unique set of characteristics. We're talking about ones with almost perfect details, no scratches, no wear, and no discoloration. That's the golden ticket. If you ever come across a 1961'D penny, don't just toss it aside. Give it a quick check. Look for any signs of wear, and examine the details carefully. A good rule of thumb is to look at Abe's face. The more detail you can see, the better the value. And if you can't tell if it's in good shape, get it professionally graded. Alright, friends, here's the takeaway. your pocket change could be worth more than you think. You might have a hidden gem, just like I almost did, except without the $1 million payout. But still, it's fun to imagine, right? So, take a closer look at your coins. You never know, your next trip to the couch cushions could lead to a small fortune. If you find a 1961'D in perfect condition, you could be holding on to something worth $1.8 million. And if not, well, you've still got a cool little piece of history. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth big money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll keep you in the loop on valuable coins, hidden treasures, and more. So, what are you waiting for? Go through those coins, hit subscribe, and keep collecting. Who knows, your next penny could be worth millions.